As I was kind of complaining to my friend the other day, 2-Racks Kingdom, it's a very prevalent map to 2-Racks. It's almost kind of like the Nusha Curse because of the way it's really easy, accessible ramp for Terran. You can't really defend Desert because it's so far away from your natural. And Alive is a really good 2-Raxer, but I don't know that's what he's actually doing. Let's go ahead and introduce our players. Starting in the top right, we have from Team MVP, it is Park Soo-ho, also known as Dongraegu. I don't know what DRG actually means, dude. There's like a saying that what his name means. Do you know what it means, Andre? I have to ask our Korean tutor that. In the bottom left, from Team Fnatic Raid Call, it is Alive. And I do know what Alive means in English, so.
It means he's alive.
It means
not
he is
dead.
Alive. He's not dead. Oh, well, Andre, what do we see from
This is just going to be a single barracks. I don't think we're going to have 2 racks coming out from here.
Yeah, fair enough.
You know, I think Alive respects his opponent well enough, especially Dongraegu. But he respects his opponent enough to say, 2 racks is not going to work on you, sir.
Yeah.
I'm not going to even try. But what this does is it actually puts the range of a 2 racks to actually exist. So if there is an early drone scout that goes into this game, Dongraegu might be like, oh my gosh, 2 racks coming again, just like we saw last game on Entombed Valley. Obviously, that will trigger premature defenses, which obviously do not help Dongraegu, as Alive is just playing a macro game directly after this.
Yeah, and I think at this point, Alive understands what Dongraegu is going. He's going for a very Zergling-based army with Baneling support and going for a very strong mid-game presence and just spreading creep. I mean, like yesterday on Cloud Kingdom, the 6 Queen opening was very strong from DRG, and a lot of Zergs, again, like this map, Andre, and you kind of teased why earlier. Why do you think Dongraegu really likes this kind of map?
It's because a lot of times you have to go up and down these cliffs, and even though normally you would say, oh, that helps out Terran a lot, well, fungal growths are very powerful. Banelings are very powerful because they're forced to actually bunch up in these particular areas. So you can actually get great fungals, and it really empowers infestors, in my opinion. Of course, we've seen Dongraegu actually go Mutaplate as well on this map, so definitely a huge range for him that we're not used to seeing. But Alive starting out with going a command center directly after barracks, and then 2 gases.
Well, he, I guess, Alive's just going to change it up a little bit, not go for such a passive marine-based army early on. Now, we do see that Dongraegu, when he was on this map, again, open for that 6 Queen, play very aggressively, and that's kind of what you can get away with. Something I also like to always encourage people to do is to use the Queen to spread creep from the low ground, because it's very easy to kind of push over the cliff that way. A lot of Zergs can increase their map presence, and you'd be surprised how much surface area Cloud Kingdom's 2 towers control. It's almost everything, and you miss a small little ledge that you can kind of dodge, but still, controlling that kind of presence is really, really key.
Do agree. You see Alive trying to pick off one of these Overlords over here. I don't think he'll be able to get it. Maybe that Overlord can get into this void over here, and yes, it does.
Nice.
But what that does for Dongraegu tells him, okay, your barracks is being used as a spotter. You're probably not going Reactor Hellions.
Yeah.
Right? That's not really in your range because normally this barracks is used to make that reactor. So what he should be afraid of is something like Banshee. He's almost relegated to going Banshee or delayed reactor Hellions, which obviously helps out. The other option also is Bio. You can see Mass Bio coming out from here, but it does look like Alive.
Oh,
yep,
right.
there it is.
He is going for Banshees. Oh, you're so smart, Andre. And I think DRG should be able to defend against. I mean, when you have so many Queens early on, it's very easy to defend, especially when you get those 6 Queens out very early on.
Yes.
The thing is, DRG does delay his Evo chambers based off his gas timings. I think when I saw him play up against, I believe it was Bomber, he delayed his gas till 60 supply. That's so late. And you do, I mean, if you're going to time your Evos based off your gas, you can get double upgrades. Oh, in this case, he is getting it. Oh, he's getting it 60 supply.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Now, I want to say that it's going to be really powerful for Alive to do a Cloak Banshee play. And the reason why Cloak Banshee is so good is it's because it forces out a lot more Spore Crawlers. What Alive is doing is punishing his opponent for getting such a late lair. A lot of times you go a slightly early lair just to get your Overseers out in time. And with those Overseers, you don't have to make so many Spore Crawlers. But in this position, if Alive does Cloak Banshee into some sort of huge 2-base push, it will be very effective against Dongraegu. And it's because Dongraegu will have to make a ton of Spores, which go away from his economy, which goes away from really going into anything forward-thinking. And from that, obviously, Alive will be just super empowered just by the inefficiencies and indirect damage that he's doing to his opponent.
DRG's going for a quad command center yet again. Did I say DRG? I meant Alive. Alive is going for the Orbital again. And this is just a very strong response to the huge 6-queen-based economy and creep spread. And last time it worked out pretty well for Alive, but he is going for that early Banshee now. Andre, Banshees are also very valuable, not just for harass, but to control creep tumor spread as well.
Sir.
So I like this play from Alive, kind of changing up even slightly to face his opponent.
The first Banshee about to meet up at this natural Spore Crawler is already in position, but it's in position to defend this area, but over here it's a little bit, obviously a little bit open. So if he can get his Banshee over here just attacking a little bit of the gases, I think that'll be very helpful. Instead, the Banshee's going to swing over to the third base, and look how comprehensive he is. Cloak should be initiated. There it is. And now targeting down some drones. Nice.
Yeah, just small little wins here and there. Obviously, DRG won't... It's not going to matter this, but it's enough to kind of provoke DRG to kind of do something at this point. Nonetheless, DRG's getting up all his tech very nicely as well, getting a slew of upgrades, and the 4 queens at the ramps make him very, very safe against any kind of harassment. And that's why I like that Alive's not even bothering to change it up. Alive also starting his double engineering base very early on, and I want to stress that importance as well. If Alive really chooses to go for a timing, there's not going to be that big of a window where Zerglings are way stronger, because normally it's about like 3/4 of an upgrade cycle where Zerg is just, like they have such a long time where Zerglings are really strong at 2-2 and range at 1-1. But closing that gap is very important.
Yeah, that's why it's super good. And Alive does run the risk of actually dying to some all-ins, but he knows his opponent's got so many queens, and obviously the third really, really fast, that his opponent is kind of relegated to just playing macro and defensive. That's why it's really, really intelligent to get those engineering bases before actually developing your stim, your combat shields, and your additional barracks. Right now, though, we, of course, just have these players just chilling out, not really doing a lot. That's because, of course, the openings that we see, of course, both of them are playing very economically greedy builds. Alive going up to the 4 orbital command centers, as you were saying. We shouldn't really have anything happen until maybe around 120, 130 supply, and that's pushing it. But a small little run by is able to kill a couple of Zerglings over here. Yeah, SCVs.
I just like that Alive is trying to still poke here and there and just kind of keep DRG from being able to get up everything that comfortably. At the same time, there's no real ability for Alive to push. The center of attention will be around Alive's third. Will DRG try to assail that third again with Mutilating Bane because his Spire is finishing up and he's getting another macro hatchery? Or will he kind of do what he did in game number 1 where he takes a 4th, techs up the Hive, be a little bit more passive, contain his opponent, and really try to harass him slightly here and there while shutting down any kind of drop play?
It's going to be tough. Of course, 13 mutas out on, or excuse me, in production as we speak. But 1-1 is already finished. 2-2 hasn't been started yet. That's a big blunder by Alive. We were just talking about how important those upgrades are, and for him to just forget about them, that's actually a pretty catastrophic mistake right here, because it's 2 minutes that Dongraegu will have this timing where he's at 2-2 and his opponent's only at 1-1. And it's just increasing right now.
Oh, okay. And that was really risky by the Marines to kind of poke up there. Yeah, and you can see that DRG is making a lot of Banelings at this point, so it looks like we might have a huge 3-base siege. And I love the fact that DRG takes the expansion over here on the right side. We're near his watchtower where he can control zone a little bit better and doesn't have to bounce back and forth. The Marines are trying to catch the queens. Ooh, nice transfuse on the first queen. Oh, great transfuses all around. And DRG going to save his queens for now. That's a nice play there.
Absolutely. Yeah, this expansion over here in the mid-right-hand position makes a lot of sense going Zergling, Baneling, Muta. If you're going Infestor, you want it to be over here on the left-hand side. That way your Infestors can stay in one place and fungal stuff down really efficiently. But when you're going Muta, Zergling, Baneling, you know that your expansions are a little bit more expendable, so you have to go ahead and take those opposite corners so that you don't lose 2 bases all at once.
21 workers have been killed thus far already from DRG picking off things with his meal list. Very nice job, although, I mean, SCVs is something that Live will not be short of anytime soon with 4 orbital commands. Now we see that 2-2 has finished for Zerg, and this is a very vulnerable time for Terran because Terran's still in the middle of powering up, but the good thing is that you can put tanks on the high ground. Who will come into play? Another one single lower depot might be the savior of Alive, but the tanks are all clumped up for the mules to pick off without too much marine support. Banes are rolling in straight into the third. There's a lot of fresh mules that represent a lot of the Terran's economy. And all of a sudden, DRG is crushing the Terran army with lots of supply left over. Alive, completely caught with his pants down. And that is the worst way to get caught, Andre.
You said it all game long, the 2-2 over the 1-1, and not only that, catching someone with their pants down is always, always good. And that's exactly what happened with Alive.
Oh, man.
And here we go, round number 2. This should really solidify his win right here. Taking out all these Marines are going to be so key.
Yeah, the
Dongraegu. There it is. GG gets called out, and he will take his first win in the North American Star League. Dongraegu, such a baller. By the way, we do have an update. Dongraegu is the city where DRG is from.
It's Dongraegu, but of course DRG. That's cool. I like DRG better than DNG. Dongraegu is now 2-1 officially in map score, but now 1-0. And that is the first step in the right direction. Alive now falls to 0-1, but Alive came back strong midway through last season as well. We expect good things for him in the future. Andre, our next match, what do we have for everyone?
We have Zenio versus Galaxy, and it looks like we also have an update. Apparently, Puzzle versus Puma. There it is. Puzzle versus Puma will be postponed due to health issues of Puzzle. We wish him the best for a fast recovery, but that will be played at another date. For now, it's going to be Galaxy versus Zenio coming up in a little bit.